This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team. Well, hello and welcome to the first Final Whistle podcast of the season proper. I'm Mark Griffiths and I'm going to go through the events of the match for you now, and then I'll hand over to Ollie Williams and Tom Crofts so you can listen to their analysis of the match after the final whistle on Calon FM from the ground itself. So, final score. Dover Athletic 0, Wrexham 1. That's a hell of a start of the season, a hell of a start for Sam Ricketts against opposition that we've never previously beaten in 8 attempts, and every single time we played them it's been a pretty grim affair, an unhappy affair. We've only scored 3 goals in those previous 8 games, so this result really does buck the trends and is an extremely promising beginning for the new manager, and he'll have been pleased with what he saw. Wrexham with some injury issues before the match. Davidix, Holroyd, Leo Smith and Freddie Hines all unavailable, but despite that Wrexham started on the front foot. Very positive approach from the beginning. Clearly this is a side which can mix it up. They can pass it around on the floor and they can also go long. Mike Fondop was really make his mark on the game. In fact, the first opportunity of the match in the 4th minute was sort of a precursor to Fondop's decisive goal. Lainton taking a long free kick, Fondop losing the initial header, which was a rarity. He's done well in the air against 3 big centre-backs in this match. But when it came back in again, on the edge of the box, he tried a cheeky little overhead kick, which dropped in the goal mouth. The goalkeeper, Mitch Walker, was able to get there ahead of Paul Rutherford, but Fondop's audacious overhead kicks would be decisive later on in the match. Wrexham continued to push on. There was an opportunity when the throw was half cleared, and Luke Young, who, as we all know, scored a terrific long-range goal against Wrexham for Torquay a couple of seasons ago, latched onto it 20 yards out, drove the ball very cleanly, went just wide of the left post, and that wouldn't be the last time that he'd be picking up the scraps on the edge of the area and driving the ball. Then Young had a very impressive debut. Dover's first moment of threat came when James Jennings tried an ambitious ball forwards and lost possession. It was played back into his area of the back 4. He was beaten in the air and dropped to Jamie Allen, who was consistently Dover's most dangerous forward, and he had an excellent strike from 25 yards. Lainton had no chance. The ball struck the bar and bounced over the top for a goal kick. Excellent effort by Allen, but it was an isolated effort. One of the pleasing things about Wrexham was that they were able to really keep Dover at arm's length, frankly, until the end of the match. It was a really strong performance by Wrexham in midfield, and it showed real control. Dover, interestingly, didn't do their usual thing of going man-to-man, and as a result, Wrexham didn't look as smothered. Were breaking dangerously, were controlling possession much better than they have done previously against Dover, and as I said, looked solid at the back. Then it was Fondop again, just giving us a taste of his potential. A long ball played forwards, misjudged in the air by Loco. Excellent take by Fondop to control it on the turn as it was dropping from the sky. He ran, beat 2 men, and in the end rather pulled his shot from 20 yards and went tamely a long way wide. But again, just a sign that he is a dangerous player if he can turn and get running at people. Then an excellent move, easily the best move of the match, which started with some great defending by Sean Pearson, who anticipated an awkward bouncing ball superbly on the edge of his area and managed to intercept. The ball was played long by Jennings. Fondop won a good header. The fell to Bevan, who played a lovely little switch. Rutherford, bursting down the left-hand side, ripped a great ball into the far post, edge of the area, just cleared the head of the left-sided centre-back and fell for Summerfield, and it just wouldn't quite sit down for him to have a shot, but he laid her off to Young, who again from 20 yards drove a very powerful shot. It ended up pretty much the same place as his earlier effort, just wide of the left post. But in the 29th minute, Wrexham got the goal that frankly they deserved. Summerfield putting in a corner which was cleared. He retreated down the right flank and swung it back in again. Fondop back to goal 15 yards out. Scored on his debut with an audacious, cheeky effort, falling backwards, hitting a sort of overhead kick, except that the ball was very low down, only about a yard off the ground. He just managed as he fell backwards to clip it over his shoulder with accuracy into the bottom right corner. Keeper was comprehensively beaten. A nice improvised finish by Fondop to give Wrexham the lead.
Every one of them as Summerfield plays it short to Luke Young. Does well, beats his man, puts it into the box, and Wrexham anticipating it, but it was cleared away. Akil Wright plays it to Luke Summerfield, still midway into the Dover half. He'll play this one early. Mike Fondop, an orthodox effort, and Mike Fondop has a goal on his debut, and what a goal it was from Mike Fondop! A cartwheel, a celebration, points up to the sky, the away end in raptures. Mike Fondop has just scored one of the most baffling debut goals, Tom, I have ever seen. Wrexham 1, Dover Athletic 0.
I think that was the lowest ever bicycle kick I've ever seen. He was pretty much lying with his back on the ground, and he just flicks it in, and to be honest, it just caught the goalkeeper offhand. He did not expect Fondop to have the tenacity to actually just attempt it.
Looked to be coasting through to half-time comfortably until in the first minute of added time, Dover were handed out of the blue a terrific lifeline. Ball into the near post. Effiong got there but wasn't really able to make much of it as it bounced off him loose into the area. He pursued it, and Akil Wright, who was flawless otherwise, holding in front of the back four, took a wild swing at it and clipped Effiong. The referee pointed to the spot. It's an interesting one. I'm not saying the ref was wrong. I don't think it was. I think it was a penalty. It was interesting because nobody complained, really. Wrexham absolutely accepted it was a penalty. It was a wild hack by Akil Wright, who I think was just trying to volley the ball away and misjudged it. He barely made contact on Effiong, though. When you look at the replay and zoom it in, he must have just clipped the tip of his toe. But I think he did. Nobody complained. The penalty was given, and Lainton did really well. He suckered Effiong, who took the ball away from Mitch Brundle. Brundle's the specialist for Dover on set pieces, and he had the ball in his hands. Effiong came to claim it so he could take the penalty. Brundle tried to hide the ball behind his back from him, but Effiong's about 6'6". Brundle wasn't going to argue, so Effiong got it, spotted it up, and then was completely suckered by Lainton, who faked to go to his left and went across a couple of steps to his left the other side of the goal completely open. Effiong accepted the invitation and tried to put it in there, but he scuffed it a little bit, and although it was pretty much going towards the bottom corner, Lainton was able to change direction, come back, and make a good save low down to his right. Cheeky and effective goalkeeping by the Wrexham keeper. As a result of that, Wrexham went in ahead.
So, Effiong, right at the end. This will be one of the last acts of this first half here at the Crabble Athletic Ground. So, Effiong up against Rob Lainton. And Lainton immediately impressed those supporters just a couple of yards away from him, behind him. Effiong against Lainton is saved by Rob Lainton and put out of play by Kevin Roberts, and Wrexham are still in the lead here.
Get in. Absolutely ecstatic there. Rob Lainton gets very low, and to be honest, it's right in the corner. That's an extremely hard one to save. Rob Lainton, fantastic save.
Dover immediately from the kick-off tried to push on. Pastley, who was a very advanced right-sided wing-back, played into the box, drove a nasty ball across the face of goal, but nobody could get contact. But then after that, to be honest, there wasn't much in terms of goalmouth incidents in the second half, which was an indication of how Wrexham were A, controlling the game, and B, were breaking things down. I can't believe the ref only added 4 minutes on at the end, because Wrexham really took advantage of all the restarts to slow play down. There was some phenomenally slow substitutions. Fondop in particular had to be run off the pitch by the referee. And it must be said as well, there was a drinks break during the second half, but the ref only added on 4 minutes, which was to Wrexham's benefit. Wrexham, though, to be fair, were the ones creating the chances or half chances. An awkward Summerfield free kick bounced through a crowded penalty area from midfield, and it was an awkward one for Walker, who was scrambling across to his left, sort of pushed it around the post for a corner. But with 10 minutes left, Wrexham were 1-0 up and things looked pretty comfortable. They very nearly got the goal which would have made the end of the match a walk in the park. Summerfield ripping in a corner from the right-hand side. Pearson getting up well 10 yards out with a good header, which was blocked off the line by Naughty. I don't think the keeper was going to get across to save that one. But still, Dover not really managing to put much pressure on to Wrexham until a very squeaky minute for Rob Lainton, which offered Dover 2 opportunities to pull themselves back into it. They came 2 minutes from the end of play. Firstly, it was Connors, the left-sided wing-back, swinging a high ball up underneath the bar. Lainton was underneath it at the last moment Jamie Allen arrived and jumped in front of him, and that put off Lainton, who could only claw the ball downwards into the ground. The Connor Essen, the centre-back who'd been pushed up the pitch, was first to it and hit a shot from about 7 yards out. Manny Smith did well to get across and block it. And then 30 seconds later, another scary moment for Wrexham, the scariest of all, frankly. A cross came in from the right-hand side. Manny Smith got his head to it, put it up in the air, and Lainton came out to claim it. Now, again, Allen was looking to fight for it in the goal mouth. Sean Pearson, seeing this, put on the brakes and blocked him off. Lainton went up, caught it, came down, banged the ball onto Pearson. It flew up in the air and Allen tapped it into an empty net. It was a horrible moment. The referee disallowed it for Allen fouling Pearson. It was a tight call, I've got to say. Unless the referee could see something on the blind side of the camera, which I can't see, I think the ref's wrong. I think it should have been a goal. Like I said, Pearson has put the brakes on. He's essentially obstructing Allen because Pearson is in no position to play the ball. Okay, I wouldn't give a foul for that. That's what defenders do. It's cute defending. Defenders know how far they can push it. But I would also, if I was a referee, give a little bit of leeway to the striker if he can try and sort of squeeze his way past Pearson. There's nothing really on the video to suggest that Allen has grabbed him or fouled him particularly. And then Lainton just comes down, hits Pearson. Pearson's not pushed into Lainton at all. And the ball drops loose and is tapped into the net. Maybe the ref on the other side, the blind side of the camera, like I said, could see a shirt tug or something. Allen's response to the referee's decision was livid, to say the least. But that was it. And like I said, there's only those two awkward moments of the goalkeeper that saw Wrexham in any discomfort. They saw the rest of the game out very, very comfortably indeed. And they were deserving winners. A really strong all-round performance from back to front, really. The back four were very, very solid. The centre-backs did very well. Manny Smith, outstanding. There was so much coming into the penalty area. Roberts got forwards more than he managed to last season as well. And defensively, they were solid. As I said, Wright was good in front of the back four. Summerfield and Young were an excellent partnership, especially Young. Young really ran the game in the middle of the pitch. He passed with sensible approach and broke play up well and got into the box a few times as well to threaten, quite apart from those shots he got off from the edge of the area. Bevan and Rutherford on the flanks were asked to come inside, narrow as much as possible and support Fondop. Neither of them had a great threat. Neither of them were particularly creative. However, they both deserve credit for the levels of energy that they showed and the discipline they showed coming back to help out when Wrexham didn't have the ball. I would say that Bevan has got a really good awareness of what's around him. Really some very nice first-time layoffs and well-weighted passes in towards players. I suspect he might be quite a convincing diver as well. He went down a couple of times. Didn't always fool the ref, but they looked quite convincing. Be interested to see if I'm right with that. So they deserved credit for the way that they tried to link up and their diligence. Fondop through the middle was impressive. We all know he's got rough edges that need to be knocked off him, but he wins a lot of headers. Dover have three massive centre-backs. He was beating them consistently in the air. He's confident with the ball at his feet. He wants to run, and he had some nice link-up play as well, which I didn't see so much of in the previous warm-up game against Forest Green. He looks a promising player, especially if he can keep his confidence going, and nothing helps a striker with their confidence like scoring goals. But yeah, Wrexham in general were consistently winning headers from set pieces, which against a very big Dover side, like I said, they've got those three big centre-backs. They've got Bedsente Gomes in midfield, who's enormous. They've got Effiong up front, who's massive. And Passley, the right wing-back's a big lad as well. Very big team, but Dover were consistently losing headers in their defensive set pieces. Wrexham getting headers and at least getting the first header on the ball for corners and free kicks. It was really pressing. Wrexham, a hard pressing side as well, lots of energy when they had the ball, which was why Rutherford and Bevan deserve credit for their work when the possession was lost. It was a good performance, a good solid performance, and my goodness, a rarity, a victory against Dover. Well, it's unique, never mind rare. Very, very satisfying start of the season. Wrexham have a tough start to this campaign. A first week seeing them playing Dover, Fylde and Boreham Wood. That's hard going, but they started it absolutely perfectly. To hear some on-the-spot reaction to the match, have a listen to Ollie Williams and Tom Crofts and what they thought of things in their post-match analysis from the Crabble on Calon FM. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.
Lainton has the ball at feet. They're on rushing is Moussa Diarra. Lainton has it in his arms, and that's time. And Wrexham have historically won for the first time against Dover Athletic. It took them 9 tries. They finally won at the Crabble. Wrexham on the opening day of the season. New signings, new manager, new hope as well, because it's 1-0 to the Dragons. Debutant Mike Fondop with a superb winner on 29 minutes. Rob Lainton, the hero between the sticks, saving a penalty in extra time of the first half. A huge win that could prove to be in what is set to be another tight season in the National League. Wrexham, Tom, start the right way.
Perfect start. 1-0. This game had everything. It's a game for the neutrals. Penalty save, everything. To be honest, though, Wrexham defended very, very well from the back. They looked to attack and looked to pull Dover apart. They're quite immobile. 2 centre-backs were pulled apart, and then Kevin Locker was trying to marshal that, but all the praises has got to be heaped on Mike Fondop. Excellent goal, took it well. Something you try in the school playground, and by God, he took it well. Took the keeper off guard, bottom right corner, 1-0, and Wrexham attacked from there. And to be honest, we played very, very well. I think you can take a lot of heat from this. If these are the games that teams that are in the playoffs or who win the league, these are the games that they win. The hard games, the tough games away. Never beaten Dover before, and we've done it first time under Sam Ricketts. So very positive for the new manager, and the travelling Reds will go back now 6 hours or so home. Very, very happy. And to be honest, myself, I think I've lost all my fingernails already, and I don't know how this season's going to go. So, but very, very good win, and to be honest, fond up there with all the fans. They're a new fan favourite, I think. Already, fans have taken into him like a duck to water. So it's only positive from here, really.
Yeah, Mike Fondop dancing a little merry jig in front of those Wrexham supporters. 312 of them in that away end today have travelled what is essentially, most of the time, a 12-hour round trip to see Wrexham play, win 1-0, and that would have tasted so sweet, especially for those supporters who've come down here every time we've played Dover and never seen us win and never seen us beat them either, home or away. 9 attempts it's taken, finally got that win. That bogey side, we got rid of Macclesfield last season in terms of bogey sides when they got promoted. We may just have done it with Dover as well. But Wrexham, that is an absolutely fantastic win, and that's such a good performance at both ends of the pitch, Tom.
Oh, exactly. Very, very solid at the back. Lainton with some. To be honest, the main thing is the penalty save. That's really, I think, the main thing that he had to actually do, other than clear the ball and do a few routine catches. But attacking wise, we looked dangerous, very, very dangerous. We pulled them apart. We attacked very, very quickly. Rutherford just ran his heart out, and Fondop won pretty much everything in the air. Was an absolute nightmare for the back three, I think it was, because it was a back 5 that they were playing with 2 advanced full-backs. So that back 3 would just, I think they're going to have nightmares of Fondop in the future, because to be honest, he was an absolute handful. And in the midfield, Luke Summerfield and Luke Young, just quality, taking the ball down, calm the ball, but also they started attacks very quickly. So, getting me breath back really, because it's been an absolutely fantastic game, and we can only take that performance then to Tuesday's game against Fylde.
Yeah, we had a couple of arse Wrexhams during the game as well that we didn't manage to get to because it was such an enthralling game. Rhys Edwards, I'm jealous, I've got to say, he's in Atlanta at the moment in the US. He says, rate the goal out of 10. Well, just for the fact that it was Mike Fondop, who's been such a great player for us over pre-season and really a player that's warmed our hearts over the summer, isn't he? And the way in which he scored that goal, for me, it's got to be a solid 3. No, it's not. It's a 10 from me, just because it's won us the game. Any goal that wins you a game is a 10. I don't know about you, Tom, but for me, that's the case. Doesn't matter how you score them. If it's the winner, it's always a 10.
I think for the sheer effort, it's a 10. But I'm starting to think everything Mike Fondop does as a 10 because he's playing very, very well. And to be honest, he caused all sorts of troubles, and he was always looking to shoot, but always playing them good balls as well. If he didn't have the option, I remember him playing a very, very good ball out to the right hand side to Luke Summerfield, which created another chance. So for me, Mike Fondop, new fan favourite, and to be honest, hopefully he can be. If he gets a goals game ratio, I think that's 46 goals. So maybe he might beat the record, but one can only hope.
As director Spencer Harris walks in front of me, gives me that smile and gives me that waving his fist and going, that felt good. Tom, I've got to say one last question from Mark as well was that did Dover go man to man today? Interestingly enough, they didn't, and they played open football. They're sort of trying to be that bullish physical side today, and that may be what cost them today, because Wrexham were given an opportunity to express themselves, and we looked good doing so. Tom, with about 90 seconds of the broadcast remaining, I need a quick man of the match from yourself. I've got an idea of who you're going to say, but I'd be interested.
Only one man, Mike Fondop, for that goal, to be honest. But he's played so well today. I mean, absolutely fantastic performance from him. But to be honest, if I could, I'd give it to everyone. But that is a very tame answer to give. So I'm going to give it Mike Fondop because he was an absolute nightmare. The number 9, doing what the strikers for Wrexham should be doing. Goals in trouble, scoring goals, and being a little bit cheeky as well with a few of his antics. But the crowd love him, and I think he's the player that away fans hate and home fans love. So I think Wrexham will love him, but I don't think anyone else from the other 23 teams from the National League will like him. So absolutely fantastic from Mike Fondop.
And we don't care what they think, do we, Tom? As long as Mike Fondop does the business for Wrexham, that's more than enough for us. So a reminder, Wrexham, with their win here, have got goal to nil, Mike Fondop's goal. Don't know if we've mentioned it or not. But great finish from Fondop, unorthodox finish, and absolutely, I completely agree with you. He made himself such a nuisance. He brought other players into the game. He was playing at a level that I don't expect him to be at just yet either, I must be honest. So that was really interesting to see from Mike Fondop. But that just about wraps it up for us, Tom.
This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team. So great win for Wrexham, a superb start for Sam Ricketts. Remember, we'll be sending these podcasts out after every match of the season, so you can hear all our analysis of the games. And remember as well, Calon FM will be live, bringing you every kick of the ball as Wrexham look to push on and finally get that promotion back to the Football League. I've been Mark Griffiths. I'll be speaking to you again on Tuesday. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.